Hello, good morning. Hi, welcome to Guanyin Practice. Nice to be here with you. I've got an honorable mention this morning. Remember, I told you back in May that I had ordered a new deck that was specific to African goddesses and ancestresses, and that it wasn't published yet, but it was coming out. I mentioned it in May. If you've been watching my broadcast for a while, you know this. So my pre-ordered copy came in. It is called The African Goddess Rising Oracle by Abiola Abrams. And I'm just going to show you the cover because Oshun is quite prominently on the cover of this marvelous deck. It is such a great deck. I've looked through it. I think it is really, really great. I'm just going to share basically the suits of this deck are the ancestors. There are 5 cards called the ancestors, the conjurers, the warriors, the lovers, the griots. A griot is a storyteller and historian entrusted with cultural continuity, the queens, and the high priestesses. So there are 5 of each of those. And then there are illumination cards, 2 cards called the Threshold Guardians, and 7 cards called the Shadows. So it's wonderful. I don't want to give away too much because I want you to get your own deck. I want you to support this artist. Good morning, Lisa. I want you to, educate yourselves about this. It is amazing. Um, of course, we're going to see in this deck a few of the goddesses we already know who they are. We've heard these names. We've heard like Ma'at or Oya or Saseya or Oshun, Ursuli Danto, Mamiwata. These are names that in goddess community, Yamoja, in goddess community, Isis, Aset, we've heard those names. However, there are so many names in here that we do not hear every day in goddess community. It is exciting. It's an opportunity to connect and learn, to move beyond our limited view of oracle and divination and goddess decks. I mean, let's just be real. I have lots and lots of goddess decks, and usually with love, it's going to be the same cast of characters again and again and again and again. And it's okay because they're big presences in our world and they deserve space. But we also have in this deck so many names that I've not encountered in my kind of everyday goddess community. So powerful. And ancestresses, Marie Laveau and Tituba and other female leaders, Nefertiti and Queen of Sheba, but also Queen Nandi, Queen Ya Asantewa. There's names here that are going to open your mind and give you an opportunity to learn something new. This is the woman who made this, Abiola Abrams, writes, as a woman of African Guyanese heritage, I grew up with intimate knowledge of many of the enchanted beings you will meet in this deck. I come from generations of intuitives and healers, so channeling divine downloads is not new to me, but these oracle keepers were persistent. They dreamed me, pursued me, and guided me through this co-creation. Then Spirit and I manifested Goddess Destiny Powell and her spellbinding artwork, and this oracle deck bloomed. So Abiola Abrams and Destiny Powell, co-authors. of the African Goddess Oracle. Um, there is, let's see, I wanted to share one other thing. Maybe I'm not finding it. There's on the back of this deck, is it here in the greeting? On the back of each card in this deck is one of the Adinkra symbols. And I'm now not finding, she has an explanation of it in here somewhere, but it's not popping right up. But I'll show you anyway. Here's the back of the deck. And then here's just a sample card. Here's Nana Buruku, a sample, so you can see the beautiful artwork by Destiny Powell. Really, really wonderful. Anna, Abiola, Abiola, Abrams, and Destiny, spelled with an EY, Powell, Powell. Oh, what a fantastic deck. Just arrived yesterday. Wanted to make sure you all know about it so that you can get on out there and buy your copy. I ordered mine on Amazon. I pre-ordered it 6 months ago. I don't want to hear about Amazon, but we already know. But they get the pre-orders for things like this, and I was very grateful that I could get on the list to pre-order. So now it's available widely. Get on out there and get yours. The African Goddess Rising Oracle. Boom, boom, boom. Really excited. And this will become our deck that we use during May of next year in the month of Oshun. So I'm going to consecrate this deck. It even has a consecration in the beginning of the book. It gives you a special consecration to do for the deck. So I will be consecrating this deck and placing it on Oshun's altar from now until May, when we can enjoy this artwork. Let me just fix this here because it's there a little better. Maybe we'll see. I want to get, there we go there. Hi, Danielle. Yeah, everybody get on out there and buy this deck. Okay, that is my little special report from the field. There's one other thing, and it's this article that I read this morning. I don't know, I will get into practice in just 1 second. I just wanted to share this thing that I read this morning that has me just deeply, deeply moved. I read this article this morning. I think it was in the Atlantic. Maybe in the New York Times. I'll have to go back and see. If it's an article I can share, I'll post it. But it might be behind a paywall. But it's called Bad Art Friend. And it's a story of this woman who her name's Dawn. There's two women, Dawn and Sonia. Dawn is, a kind of she's an altruistic person. She's a very giving person, but she's also a little bit of a pick me person. And then this other woman, Sonia, is a published writer, author. And the two of them were in writing groups together for years. They, knew each other. Dawn considered Sonia a dear friend. They were part of a group of friends. And Dawn decided she was going to give her kidney anonymously, not anonymously. She was going to donate a kidney. It wasn't for anyone in her family. It was just a donation, kind of, I'm giving a kidney because someone might need one, which I didn't even know you could do that, but I learned in this story that you can. And she created a Facebook group and she added her friends, and she was telling them about how she had given this kidney, and she documented the process as many people do on social media. And at one point, she even wrote a letter talking about her life and her purposes for giving her kidney. It was sort of addressed to, whoever might get my kidney. Okay. All of these so-called friends kind of started to mock Dawn behind her back because, with love, Dawn was a little bit being a pick me person about this. She really wanted acknowledgement. She really wanted to make sure everybody saw how good she was being. And, she writes in the, in her letter, about her childhood, and she had a traumatic childhood. And so as an adult, doing the right thing is really important to her, but there's a lot of wounding that she suffers around her past, and it does leave her with some of these behavioral patterns that are a little bit, um, you know, put her in that kind of pick me category. Then Sonia and all of Dawn's other friends basically started to ignore her, not talk to her, not acknowledge her when she was mentioning how she had donated the kidney and talking about her process. And, she was just sharing the journey, and it was in a private Facebook group. It wasn't like she was putting it out there in the world. But in time, she did put out in the world that she had given a kidney, and that then she was able to meet the man who got her kidney, and it was really touching. And all this stuff kind of happened that it was good. Dawn felt validated in giving the kidney, and she felt like she, had done a good thing. And she was, her town like made her like put her in a parade, as one of their goodwill ambassadors that year, and stuff started to happen that was positive for her as a result of this. No, like money, it wasn't like anything like that, but just positive attention for what she had done, which was very healing for her. She needed that positive attention after her childhood of feeling neglected and ignored, her needs ignored. Meanwhile, over here, this group of people who Dawn thinks are her friends are mocking her behind her back, texting each other like, "I can't even, and what is it with this woman? And she's just thinks she's a white savior, and she's so obnoxious." But then Sonia wrote a story based on giving a woman giving a kidney to somebody. Literally stole Dawn's whole story and took that whole story, and even in the first draft, the audiobook draft of her story, used words, plagiarized words again and again and again from Dawn's letter that she had shared in her private Facebook group, her letter to the recipient of the kidney. Dawn reached out to Sonia and was like, "Hey, like, I've been sharing this stuff and I want to talk about it. And you're one of my closest friends. And what's going on? Why don't you talk with me about this?" And Sonia ignored her and then wouldn't really talk to her. And then was like, "Oh, you did such a tremendous thing. How great for you." But never mentioned the story. And then she published the story. She started getting awards for the story. She started getting all of this clout for the story. And at a certain point, somebody told Dawn, like, "I think your friend wrote a story about you." She never acknowledged Dawn. She never acknowledged the story. She never acknowledged where the teachings had come from that she had included in the story that she wrote, the emotions, the philosophical views. And the whole time she was mocking Dawn behind her back. And as somebody who, I've definitely in my life had my own moments where I can really relate to Dawn, where I really relate to that whole pick me energy and wanting to do good, but also, wanting to be acknowledged for it. I know what that feels like from my life. I remember being younger and feeling like I wanted to be acknowledged for doing good, and I wanted that, and it was the wrong motivation. It was more of an ego motivation. And the Dharma has helped me a lot with that, identifying my motivations. whether a motivation is truly altruistic, in which case you don't really feel the need to like tell everyone about it, versus when a motivation is more self-centered and ego-based. And those more self-centered, ego-based things come from our places of wounding. So when other people have that, I try to kind of help them see it if I can, but if it's not my place, I don't. But, you know, mostly now, if I do a good thing, I don't really talk about it. I don't really feel like I need to publicize it or share about it because that's not really why I did it. I didn't do it for that reason. So my motivations have changed over the years. Yeah. And it's very painful. Shannon is saying in my comments, I found that this is why I stay out of some of the goddess networks. I've observed behaviors like Sonia. It's grieved me, and I've asked the goddess for wisdom. And I also see behaviors like Dawn. It really takes a lot for me, it takes something for me to participate. So, yeah, I completely agree. I mean, in any group of women, you're going to have that, right? You're going to have like the mean girls, and you're going to have the pick me's, and you're going to have everybody brings our wounds to the goddess community, unfortunately. But that's why we're here, is to heal them. So, if you want to be really a good sister in goddess community, you have to learn when someone is being in their pick me energy, how to kind of not encourage the pick me energy, but still to acknowledge the good parts of that person. And when someone is being a mean girl, you have to be able to confront the mean girl behavior and not participate in it. And at the same time, to understand that that mean girl behavior is usually only motivated by fear, by a desire for some kind of power, a profound sense of disempowerment. Man, what these two women have gone through. It turned out that, at one point, Sonia submitted the story and was about to get a literary award for it. But then all this information came out about how she had plagiarized Dawn's letter. I mean, it's word for word. And then the head of that book festival or whatever literary festival was like, no, we're not going to publish your story and we're not going to bring it into this festival. And you actually owe everyone an apology, which I think is true. And I also felt like watching how Sonia's friends defended her. Really, they're just defending themselves because they were really being mean to this woman. They were talking about her behind her back really cruelly. They weren't acknowledging the good in her. Of course, we all get frustrated with somebody's pick me energy. Sometimes we need to let off a little steam and just be like, I can't right now with this. But at the same time, acknowledging that that's not a judgment of the person, that that's just a behavior that you find upsetting, triggering, or, unhappy, and that the person still has inherent value. This to me is how we navigate these treacherous waters in goddess community. We have to be able to navigate the treacherous waters of each other's woundings. So the story that I read today is called The Bad Art Friend. You can Google it and see if you can find the article. If it's behind a paywall, let me know. Maybe I can copy paste it somewhere, or I can put, an excerpt. I don't want to plagiarize because that's what Sonia did, but I can maybe take some excerpts of it and share it in the Goddess Temple app. Um, and we can discuss it further. It was, I mean, it takes a lot. I read, several different periodicals every day, read the news, literary reviews, and local international events, and sometimes feel good items, occasional recipe. I was riveted by this story this morning because it's such an intimately familiar story in goddess community of how women and their wounding get tangled up in, and how really all that means is that the patriarchy is standing over there laughing its head off at us as we're struggling to get out of our own entanglement. I will just say this, and then we're going to do our practice. The patriarchy wins every single time. a woman hurts another woman. Full stop. Doesn't mean we don't have our stuff to work on. We do. We're not innocent. But we're not. But we're better than that. We may not all be innocent 100% of our own flaws, but we can be so much better than that. Hecate the keys, Hecate the light. Hecate, you carry the keys and the light. Hecate, I carry the keys and the light. Within, within, within. Hecate the keys, Hecate the light. Hecate, you carry the keys and the light. Hecate, I carry the keys and the light. Within, within, within. Hecate the keys, Hecate the light. Hecate, you carry the keys and the light. Hecate, I carry the keys and the light. Within, within, within. Within, within, within. And let's see what the Sacred Hags Oracle has to say to us today. Loving this deck. I have to say, this month has been a banner for new decks. I got the Sacred Hags Oracle. This African Goddess Rising pre-order just showed up. And I also got 2 new decks in Hawaii, a Sacred Birds Oracle and a Flowers Oracle. And I'm going to contact the artist. Those are produced by just a single artist. I'm going to contact the artist and see if I can carry those Oracle decks in my shop because they're great. They're really well done. And I'll see if I can find a way next year to work them in. Today, our card is the Season of the Haunted Heart. 25, card number 25. Our keyword for the Season of the Haunted Heart is shadow. Tell me, child, who are you not? Who would you swear is the precise opposite of you? What do you refuse to know of yourself? Our shadows are our greatest power sources, our most difficult teachers, and our most potent medicine. Ask yourself now in this moment, who have you so long refused to be? Have you resisted being too loud, too messy, too soft, or too still? Have you refused yourself rest or support? Are you a rebel who longs for order? Or are you a straight-laced and law-abiding business person who craves chaos? Humor me, and just for this moment, consider not only that you have condemned part of your wholeness, but that this aspect of your soul you've attempted to sever and cast into shadow is the very key to your fortitude. Wow. What a great card for what I was sharing before. In the story I was sharing before, can we see ourselves as Dawn? Can we find in us the squeamish feeling of that pick me energy that, maybe is part of our wounding? Can we find ourselves in Sonia? Have we been the mean girl? Have we stolen ideas from others without giving them proper credit? Have we done anything that may have created some kind of a collusion of people against an individual? Really, let's investigate ourselves today. What is it that we don't like? Here's the best way to do it, too. Look at other women and what you don't like about them. And in that, you will see exactly what you don't like about yourself. Boom. Whether it's she's too loud, she's so quiet, she's neurotic, she's demanding, she thinks she's all that, she acts like a martyr, she's always has, a new boyfriend or new girlfriend, she just can't make up her mind, she just doesn't give herself a chance to love. Think about the things that you look at other women and feel frustrated by, that you look at other women and you feel like, ooh, I don't like that about her. That you look at another woman and you pity about her. That's a bad one. And say to yourself, how is that me? How is that part of me? Is there any part of me that is that? Is there any part of me that is that gossip? Is there any part of me that is that, um, you know, performer? Is there any part of me that is that, whatever, jealous? It's so hard to do it, but we have to do it because this is our growth. And this is how we heal collectively. When we can look at another woman and be like, that thing that drives me crazy about her, that must be my teaching that I need. Because honestly, if I were healed, that thing wouldn't drive me crazy about that person. If I were healed, I would be able to be like, oh, I see where that comes from. I don't judge that. The good parts of this person are more important to me than that thing. Season of the haunted heart. Where might your heart be haunted by the actions of other women? And can you find yourself in that, in there? Well, it's been a brisk conversational morning. I hope that you enjoyed the little news report, and I do hope you'll get right out there and buy the African Goddess Rising Oracle, supporting women of color, producing work with amazing art and truly rooted interpretation from within the locus of the cultural paradigm that the deck is sharing so generously. Who wants to do some chanting? Let's dive in. 3 prostrations before the shrine of Guanyin. And let's take refuge. Namo Guru Be. I take refuge in the inner teacher. Namo Buddhaye. I take refuge in the great mother of compassion. Namo Dharmaye. I take refuge in the wisdom of the ages. Namo Sanghaye. I take refuge in the community of practitioners. And today, let's hold Priestess Kathy, who's having a procedure, and her speedy healing and her well-being, as well as anyone else who you'd like to dedicate your practice to today. And let's recite the four immeasurables. May I be a source of loving kindness in this world and all worlds, bringing a generous heart to all my thoughts and doings. May I be a vehicle of compassion in this world and all worlds, ever mindful and aware of the tremendous suffering of others. May I be a brimming vessel of joy in this world and all worlds, delighting in the happiness of others as their suffering is alleviated. May I be a balance point of equanimity in this world and all worlds, seeing all as equals and all as deserving of goodness. I light this candle as a symbol of the enlightening Dharma way. May it shine brightly for the benefit of all beings. I light this incense as an offering to Guan Yin, she who hears the cries of the world, mother of all. Om Ahum. 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 Reverently I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind, and present clouds of every type of offering, actual and virtual. I confess all my destructive actions accumulated since beginningless time, and rejoice in the meditation of all holy and ordinary beings. Please, Guan Yin, remain until the end of samsaric existence, and turn the wheel of Dharma for sentient beings. I dedicate my own merits and those of others to the great enlightenment. 108 recitations of Om Mani Padme Hum. Of Namo Guan Yin Pusa. I don't want to get ahead of myself. Namo Guan Yin Pusa, calling out to the one who sees all of our imperfections and holds us in compassion anyway. 南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨。南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨。南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨。南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨。南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨。南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨。南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨。南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨。南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨。南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨。南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨， Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa. 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 And our brief prayer for summoning prosperity by Jamgon Mipan Rinpoche. Jamgun Mipan Rinpoche. Written in 1904 on the 6th day of the 10th month of the Wood Dragon year. Hung Chuksum Sasum Nakdang Chake Ti Tu Tenyo Sishi Chayang Getsen Kun Dirkuk Dirdu Pelge Minu Par Deki Tashi Letsok Palbar Sho. Whom, by the power of mantras and mudras of the three jewels and the three roots, may all the good omens, abundance, and prosperity of the animate and inanimate universe, both samsara and nirvana, be summoned and gathered here and expand without ever declining, so that the splendor of happiness, well-being, auspiciousness, and all that is good may blaze forth. Hung Chuksum Sasum Nakdang Chake Tu Tenyo Sishi Chayang Getsen Kun Dirkuk Dirdu Pelge Minu Par Deki Tashi Letsok Palbar Sho. And now 108 recitations of Om Mani Padme Hum. And we're calling out to Guanyin and asking her to send healing light to Priestess Kathy and to all who need it today. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 And let's give thanks for our teachers. May all of my blessed teachers enjoy long, happy, healthy, productive lives and great support for their good works. May all beings benefit from their wisdom. May they enjoy a swift and happy rebirth. And long life prayer for Lama Dechen Yeshe Wangmo. Om Swasti. Through the powerful blessings of the immortal Pema Jungye and his consort, may the three secret qualities of the Dakini of Supreme Bliss, Yeshe Wangmo, be utterly stable, and may the light of her activities shine on the lotus groves of the teachings and of beings, so that they blossom in radiant splendor. And let's dedicate the merit. May the merit of this practice and all of my activities be of endless benefit to all beings in all realms, beginningless and continuous. May all obstacles be overcome and suffering cease at the sound of liberation. May all beings be free from suffering and its causes. May all beings have happiness and its causes. May we carry the essence of Guanyin in our hearts. Namo Guanxin Pusa. And we'll close with a bow to Guanyin, bow to one another, and bow to the inner teacher And today we're going to get out there and we're going to pay attention to what grates on our nerves that other women do, and then find where is it in ourselves that we have something unresolved that's causing us to have that reaction. Good luck. And we'll be back tomorrow for the final practice of like a month. My goodness. But we'll enjoy it. See you later.